20 months of hell inside, 2 days, pregnant again. I'm lost. It's hard for me to begin, but I am so desperate to find a way to cope, and maybe this will help. I'm sorry for the jumbled mess. Long time lurker but first time posting on Reddit. I have 3 children with a 4th on the way. My 2 oldest children being only 7 and 5 from a previous bad relationship. The father is pretty inconsistent, mostly absent, so my current husband is mostly their only father figure and they have come to call him dad. He came into the picture and I had pretty much felt me and my children were saved by this man, although I felt I had reached a point even before we had met that I had finally found happiness leaving my toxic relationship. So when we met I felt like good things just kept coming, that everything was finally working out. I love him. I've never experienced a relationship and friendship like this one. We dated, we moved in, I got pregnant with my now 3rd child. I truly felt so blessed as he did everything right in my eyes. I felt so safe and cared for and so connected to him. I thought our relationship and communication was great. Fast forward through the pregnancy and a few weeks postpartum, I noticed that my pain in my pelvic area was increasing versus getting better. And of course, this being my 3rd, I knew something was definitely off. The pain kept growing each day until it was almost unbearable, like I couldn't walk. My first thoughts were, okay, I somehow got a postpartum related infection or kidney infection? Went to my OB, ran all the tests. Waited. When my results came back, this was early July 2022, first day I was positive for chlamydia. I then realized they hadn't done an STD test on me during my pregnancy since that previous November when I was just 2 months pregnant. So sometime between early November and June I had gotten it. I read the results in the car. I was being driven to meet him and I was about to switch cars to be with him as we had plans. Once we were together alone in the car, I asked him if he has ever cheated on me. I obviously understood he did and wanted to first see his reaction to the question. I felt very much frozen in fight or flight. I would say 99.99% of the time I still am from that moment on. He first lied. I explained the STD results. He stood. Day I learned tries lying. Lots of thick silence followed too from the both of us. When we got to our destination he stopped the car and started crying that he was so scared. He cried all over me, admitted it, and I really at the time could hardly think, speak, or breathe, so I didn't ask much more until later. Later that night, a Saturday night, I had asked 3 more things. When and with who and how many times. He tickled truth, but at the time I wasn't thinking he was. He had said I don't know the end of February, 2 times, and a girl's first name. I didn't ask anymore. For context, I'm a stay-at-home mom who has done at-home daycare for extra money, while paying for online school. The Monday he left to go to work, I broke down, I think for the first time. I realized I needed more information to process it. I asked for the girl's full name and unfortunately it was someone I knew in our small town. I remember collapsing. I had reached out to the same girl around that February because she just had a baby. I don't have many friends or family to confide in, so I immediately texted his mother and told her. She left work right away and found me already drunk with a wine bottle in the bathtub. I had a lot of his family members come in and try to help me the first 2 weeks, making sure I was okay. I wasn't, and to make sure we always separated the 3 kids from hearing and seeing anything during the chaos. During this time he also admitted to a prostitute for oral intercourse while I was pregnant also. From this D-Day I started to have his location from his phone shared with me. As far as the STD, I took round after round of antibiotics. They weren't working to help my pain. Did a farther STD test, found another STI I was positive for as well. Got sonograms, changed antibiotics, changes doctors, got referrals to specialists, got a CT scan, nothing was showing up to explain what was happening. The STDs finally were coming back negative, but the pain was very unbearable for at least the next 6 months. Eventually it got better, but not because of anything specific or any help from the medical field. I still have pain, but it is dull now. A lot of my focus was on that physical pain. I'm not even sure how long it took me to process the emotional pain. I drank more than usual. I'm not saying every day, but at least once a week I was numbing myself. For the first time in my life I would get into drunken rages and completely black out and not remember. Even if the drinking didn't seem to begin this way, it always ended the same. I am not saying I'm proud of how I handled anything. While sober my anxiety and sadness were overwhelming, but I didn't want to leave him. I still loved him. He definitely was love bombing me and still doing everything right. I had even felt that we were closer than ever now. I continued to stay and hoped for the best, hoped the healing would come. December 2022 he proposed to me, and I said yes. We eloped with our kids 5 months later. We sold our house and bought our dream house, a fixer-upper we've gotten to make our own. Everything was so exciting, and inside I was still suffering, but I was holding on to the possibility of getting better, and I was trying so hard to trust him again. I believed what he would say. Then comes July 2023, D-Day 2, I got into a spiff with an ex-friend and during a brutal verbal attack rant she sent me, she told me there was another woman my husband isn't telling me about, then blocked me so I couldn't even ask any more from her. I was in bed next to him, I immediately was shaking and having a panic attack. I woke him up and asked what else hasn't he told me about? Even trying to get to the messages to show him I remember my fingers went numb, I couldn't get them to work or scroll on my phone. He kept saying nothing. I freaked out. Screaming. Crying. I locked myself in a bathroom. He finally admits to intercoursing an ex-girlfriend. Later on came out that he cheated on me more than twice with the girl from D-Day 1, it was over the entire duration of my pregnancy instead, and found out he has slept over her place when lying about working nights, and he was having intercourse with her while she herself was heavily pregnant, and then again a few times after she had her baby. That night I took a crowbar and literally smashed his phone. Next day he missed work. We had someone take care of the children while we basically stayed in bed all day and talked or slept since we didn't sleep the night before. I found out he was also sending this ex-girlfriend from D-Day 2 money in exchange for pictures. Frequently. I found out 6 days prior he got off work early and was trying to go over her house to have intercourse, it just so happened she was not available too. I messaged the girl and got some screenshots of messages. Found out the intercoursing was going on the entire duration of our relationship. Of course I compared the date and timestamps in the screenshots to our own messages. I found out that on a recent day I was texting my husband telling him I was having a particular hard day with my anxiety feelings about the previous infidelities, and the same minute he was comforting me, reassuring me, he also texted her. That haunts me. I got him to stay out of the house for maybe 3 nights, but in the end caved in again to needing him with me and wanting to reconcile and not lose my best friend in our life we have built for our children. I didn't start therapy. I don't like talk therapy. He started therapy though. It was only a few sessions and I don't believe it was helpful. There was a lot of effort. All his social media accounts were deleted and we blocked them from his phone, being able to download them. No phone numbers saved, although knowing my husband I'm sure he can memorize it. I have his password, location still, and now bank account, and passwords to all other money sending apps. Answered all the questions down to every detail I have requested. We've read so many books, podcasts, ect. Of course NC happened immediately both times. All of it was always physical to him, not emotional. Nothing is helping me. It is hard now to feel like he is there for me during this, when the whole entire last year he was there for me but still lying and cheating, and at least attempting to physically cheat again. He saw me at my lowest and still continued to hurt me. It feels psychotic. I still felt like we got closer, that he does and says all the right things and wants to help me and heal our relationship. He is so attentive and cooperative in the healing process. I got pregnant again and saw our 4th baby. His second biologically is due early summer now. I wanted this baby so bad, please be gentle on me for this. I didn't realize how much PTSD, anxiety attacks, and depression were still going to roll in. Especially from my trauma being cheated on my last pregnancy, and he cheating with another pregnant woman. It takes out so much joy and there is almost hatred now for my growing body. I am so insecure and I never dealt with this feeling before. As I'm sure you all get it, I deal with the PTSD so much. The insomnia, the emotional ups and downs, and sometimes it's hard to get through intercourse even though I want to, the panic attacks, triggers, and so much dissociation. He is my best friend though. So many moments where I tell myself, remember this moment, this is your best friend, don't end this, you will miss it, you can heal. Keep going. Keep trying. And so here I am 8 months later since this past July D-Day 2 and 20 months later since D-Day 1. And I've gotten married. My dream house and life that I cannot financially afford to keep on my own by just doing my daycare job, and a 4th child on the way, and so many trips and dreams and plans already spoken for the future with him, and I am still a mess. I think I am more of a mess now than ever. I am exhausted. I'm trying to be sympathetic original poster, but you are doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. You are enabling him and worse, dragging your children through trauma because you can't walk away from this mess. They have to live with a mom who has periods of self-destruction, heavy drinking bouts, screams, and has violent fights with her husband. He's not your best friend, he's not even your friend, even casual friends don't treat each other like this. Walk away, yes, it'll be hard, but there is no way it'll be harder than what you're going through right now and will continue to go through, because this man won't change. Period. Full stop.